You're listening to the Live Free podcast. I'm your host, Christine, certified life coach, pain to power mentor, and creator of Embody You Mindset Mastery School. I'm here today to discuss living life after disease, disaster, or adversity, to discuss living life fully once again, a life of hope, peace, and resiliency, a life fully embodied. I utilize the lessons that I learned going through not one, but two primary cancers. I'm here today to guide you to the life of your dreams, turn your pain into power, and lead you back to yourself. Welcome. Let's talk presence. Let's talk being an active participant in your own life. And what do I mean by that? When most of us move through life, most of us are in a sort of coma most of the time. You're either thinking in the future or you're thinking in the past. And I know that we've heard that cliche 100 times, but it's unbelievably true for so many of us. You're thinking about, going forward, what do I have this evening, this afternoon, this month, and everything like that. Or you're thinking about, I wish I could be more happy, but that experience from a month ago, a week ago, my childhood, I can't. So we're so in the future and we're so in the past. And I know we've all heard you should be more present and more participating in your own life, but what does that really mean? And when you feel into presence, when you feel into the present moment, you take a breath and you really think about it. Where am I now? Everything seems to fade away. All of the concerns going forward, all of the pain from the past, it all just fades away. And how you do that is to feel into this now moment. So questions like, what temperature is this room? What part of my body is connected to this chair? What is the taste that I have in my mouth right now? How does the air feel coming out of my mouth as I speak? Those sorts of questions. Those bring you back to presence. And we so rarely live in that space. And when you come back to presence, I ask you, what happens to everything else? Well, it dissipates, all of it. And suddenly, all you have to take care of is this now moment, followed by this now moment, followed by this now moment. And that's the end of it. And yeah, there's still things that, do require some time and some preparation. But that becomes less of a fear of how complicated it's going to be, and becomes more of a sense of, okay, so when I get there, I'll deal with that now moment and that now moment. I always make the joke, kind of future Christine's problem. And it's so true. So this was brought to my attention that I truly didn't understand presence right around the time of my diagnosis. So I was told shortly before going to a camping weekend with my family that I had breast cancer, and I
remember going to the lake and getting there, and everyone was kind of, you seem off, like, are you doing okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. And everyone said, you just have this sort of calm sereneness about you, but it seems sort of sad, are you all right? And again, I just didn't want to talk about it. I had a lot to deal with in my mind. And we got out onto the water on a family boat, and it was unbelievable the way, like, I could feel the dock as I walked into the boat. I could feel it shudder, as you walked across, and then I could feel the boat sink as my foot touched the bottom of the boat, and the weight transferred from the dock to the boat. And then as it started moving, I could feel the energy of the boat propelling itself forward. And I had never understood that sense of presence. I had never understood what it feels like to really be in the now moment. And it was unbelievable. I could feel the air, I could feel the boat to the water to the base, the base to the core. It just, I've never felt more connected to life, which is very unique because, I had just received this terrifying diagnosis. And my first belief was that I was going to die. I think it would be crazy not to feel that way. And that brought me to presence. That was the first thing that happened. That was the first lesson, was to be more present. And that impacted me. And I think that started the trajectory of all of the lessons that I was willing to learn throughout all of it, and the ways that it made me better as opposed to bitter. And what got me curious about growth, in this whole experience was presence. And that was something that I did not try for. I didn't ask for. It just showed up, in extreme fear. Presence was born. So that was really beautiful. And since then, there's been a lot of future things for me to worry about. Chemo, followed by surgery, followed by radiation, followed by trying not to have a reoccurrence, and all those sorts of things, which is, really, how do you try not to have a reoccurrence? And I've just brought myself back over and over and over again to that story, that presence, and how suddenly everything in the world, everything that was so scary, everything that I couldn't handle just halted. So what does that mean for you? I think that in your life, you have such an opportunity to bring yourself back to presence. And what would fade away if that was a skill that you could cultivate? Would it be, the fear of your kids, not arriving in their vehicle properly, safely? Could it be that you no longer have to worry about the bake sale that's coming up, and whether or not you're going to have enough time between your job and daycare and all of these sorts of things? And I'm using parenting examples because Mother's Day just passed, so that's what's on my mind. And how many times that you could just, this now moment, how you might be able to set yourself free 100% from everything just by becoming present. It seems so simple yet so difficult. And how can you cultivate it? A lot of the time, the best way to cultivate it is through meditation and through practices of presence in any way that needs to fit for you. Breathing exercises, all these different types of things. But I'm starting to feel like presence is a choice. You can cultivate it, yes, but we don't understand how deeply we do not choose things until you start to try to choose it. And then you see all of these limiting beliefs pop up. And then you start to understand that you're not necessarily comfortable with presence. And it's not necessarily something that you want. But if you just choose it, you will find that it is going to set you free. And spoiler alert, I am having to choose presence, even while talking to you now. Because there's so many things in my head that are telling me, oh, well, you've decided to help people, Christine, and are you going to have the knowledge, the power? Are you going to be able to help people? And that's future thinking. That's fear. That's fear in the future. And I'm having to bring myself back and choose presence. Not an easy task, but man, it's freeing. You talk about this now moment, followed by this now moment. And it will change your life. It is so simple, yet so real. Some books that I love and recommend is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's an excellent, excellent book. It is very esoteric. It's very out there. But his message is simple. He just over and over and over again reiterates that in life, just choose presence and everything else will fade. And everything else will, to some degree, start to balance itself. Because if you weren't scared of the future or dwelling on the past, how could you choose more empowered? Over and over again, could you choose more empowered experiences? I think yes. I think a person who isn't scared of the future over and over again is going to be able to pull from a different source of energy, and a more wholehearted and open source of energy, and allow that to come through them in such a way that is without fear or binding. Because being in the future and being in the past, those are binding. They're like wearing shackles on your wrists. And becoming present truly is allowing those shackles to be removed. So to summarize everything that I'm chatting about today, how could you go out today and choose presence? So let's think about any sort of day. So you might be listening to this in the car. You might be listening to this at home with the kids busybodying, playing with toys or something along those lines. And ask yourself, how could you feel the car, your body to the seat to the structure, the wheels turning on the road? Feel the temperature of the of the air, the forced air coming in and out, and really, really settle into that experience, listening to my voice, the fact that you have the ears to hear my voice. How could that take you from everything that you are so worried about into a place where you feel just more present and more calm and more serene? And then when you get to your destination, you'll deal with that now moment. That's what I mean when it comes to this incessant chatter that we believe that we need to do, prepare for everything. You get there and all hell breaks loose anyway. So start to allow what is to be is. The isness of everything, which I think is just so beautiful. I love that. What is the isness of where I am in my life right now? That's all you have to take care of. And I know a lot of people would say, well, that's irresponsible. There are some things that you will need to pre-plan, and some goals that you will need to know that you're moving in the direction of. But that being said, once those goals are set, then go back to your presence. And don't tie yourself to a specific goal. I think that I was sort of taught that, if you want something in life, you have to be extremely clear on exactly what you'd like, and down to every aspect of it. And then what they didn't say was you end up controlling it and always thinking in the future. When will I get to that thing? When will I get to that thing? When will I get to that thing? And I don't believe that serves us, because it's us controlling the outcome. If you have a general goal, as in, I want to be more free, then you can release the outcome and you can go into presence, go into your now moments, and what will end up happening is that you will become more free because you're not tied to the outcome anymore. Or another example may be, I would like to make money doing something that I love. That would be another excellent goal, general goal, to know that you want to move in passion. And then your only job is to feel passion and feel these now moments over and over and over again. So I invite you today to sit in presence for even just 5 minutes and watch and become really intentional about it, and watch everything fade away. And when that happens, ask yourself if this is something you'd like to pursue. Because I tell you, it has changed my life, and it's been so beautiful. And I'm not awesome at it all the time, by no means. But if you just cut the shit and sit in presence for 5 minutes, you truly will find out that that is the quickest way to unbreaking your own chains. So I wish you all the best. I hope that today you sit in presence for 5 minutes or more, and that you truly, truly allow yourself to be in this now moment, followed by this now moment. So much love to you all. And I hope you go out there today and live your life freely. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you found expansion with this last episode, then that means that others will too. And the best way to get the word out about the podcast is by leaving a review. I would be so grateful if you could leave me a review and let me know how you felt about the podcast. Included in the show notes will be everything that we talked about today, including all of my transformative programs. Change is just on the horizon, my friend.